Welcome to Accelerators Organization, Shawn Thomas's mentor session. Let's get this thing started. Remember, if you're a member of AO and you watch these videos, if this evokes you to think about another question you want to ask, just go ahead and log into the portal and ask your question. And if you are not a member of AO and you like what you see on these videos, just go to acceleratorsorg.com and sign up, and we would love to answer your questions and help you grow your business. And here we go. The first question comes from Jacqueline, and Jacqueline says, should I be collecting sales tax from every state on my Wix website? The background is I started selling homemade vegan and cruelty-free cosmetics products online a month ago. Based in Massachusetts, and I only sell within the United States. I collect sales tax from Massachusetts residents, but I'm still not sure if I should be collecting sales tax from other states as well. I believe when I did some research on it, it stated you should if you are making 200 plus sales a year or have a certain dollar amount per year that you are making, but I still found it confusing and hard to understand. If it helps, I made 50 plus sales in my first month. Okay, I'm gonna have Jerry Morton, Joel, and Tyler answer these because to be completely transparent, I have no idea. And if I wanted to answer this question, I would call my CPA. I would develop, if I were you, which actually, you already have a relationship with a CPA in this group, and that is Tyler. So when you have questions about taxes and things like that, just submit a question and we can get you some answers. At some point, you're going to want to hire and develop a one-on-one relationship with a CPA to help you with things like this. But for the short term, while you're just building your business, this is a great forum. Just keep asking those questions. And I am sure that Tyler, Joel, or Jerry and Joel both do e-commerce websites, so they are probably going to know this answer, and we'll get them to answer it for you. Thanks. Jacqueline, if you need a faster answer on that, get with Shirley and let me get you in touch with somebody right away by email and maybe a phone call if this is urgent, okay? If it can wait a week or two when the other mentors do their mentor sessions to give you that answer, just wait for their answers. If not, if you need something quicker, please reach out to Shirley, and I'm sure we can get you a faster answer if it's an emergency, okay? I know that every day you're making sales and you'd like to know, but I think waiting a couple weeks in this situation is probably not that big of a deal. At most, you might have to go back and pay some penalties on some sort of sales tax, but at this juncture of your business, it's probably not that big of a deal. Okay, thanks. The next question comes from Kristen, and Kristen says, is there a threshold for percentage of revenue that we take home that we should aim to stay within? The background is, as I scale my coaching company, I'm paying about 46% of revenue to my 1099 contractors and about 15% commission to partnerships with other businesses. This means I'm retaining as low as 39% of revenue with clients brought in on partnerships before expenses, which right now are fairly low, but doesn't leave much room for me to hire admin until I've significantly increased my profits. Is this just a normal part of process, or should I be considering changing something as I continue to scale and bring on more contractors and partners? My prices are already at the high end of my industry, so raising prices right now probably isn't a good solution. I've got about 7 or 8 mentors that I want to add in on this as well, Kristen, because the first question that you have is, is there a threshold as far as how much money you should bring home? Absolutely, bring home millions. But when we're in the initial stages of growing our business, my mindset was this: as long as I have enough money to pay my bills at the beginning stages here, I'm gonna put every dollar that I earn over and above what I need just to survive, I'm gonna put it right back into the business. It could be on which is mostly hiring people. One of the things that you'll need to analyze, which is why at some point you might want to start working with a good CFO type person, or maybe even just getting some consulting around running your numbers, is to get somebody with some experience to run some different scenarios of data for you. Like, if I pay my coaches this much, what does this mean? If I pay them this much, what does that mean? What if I say that if they do this, I'll pay them this, but if they do more, they get paid this? You start running all kinds of scenarios with data to really make sure you're making the right decision for your company and you're actually making some profit where you're not having to worry about hiring an administrative assistant. As far as hiring an administrative assistant, think about it this way. If it's something that somebody could do remotely for you and it's just administrative work, which means they're not going to be necessarily maybe engaging with your clients and some things like that, and they can work remote, that's where a good virtual assistant can come into play. And one of your mentors, Brad Stevens, he owns an outsourced virtual assistant company where they're all based in the Philippines. And for $1,700 a month, all right, which is not that much, you get somebody for 40 hours a week. That is fantastic. They're not going to be local, of course. You're not going to be able to hand them stuff and tell them to go do things for you. But if you have even 20 hours a week of administrative work that you could free up, think about if you worked with a client. How many clients would you have to work to go ahead and pay somebody $1,750 a month, right? If you're doing the administrative work now and you offload it and then you bill out the hours of working, imagine how much money how much more money you'd be making, or your quality of life would go up because you won't be working at late nights and on the weekends or whatever, taking time away from your family. So there's the offset. In the beginning, we might do all of the admin work at night and on off hours that we can't service our clients, but that's going to quickly lead to burnout. If we can hire a virtual assistant, get them trained, that's the best thing. There's also this the software I think I told you about called Trainual. Would highly, highly, highly urge you to get Trainual and use our discount code. Send me a message if I didn't give it to you already. I don't want to put it here publicly because this is open to the public and we don't want everybody getting our discounts. So go ahead and start using Trainual to document all your processes, videos, all these types of things. And if you need some help learning how to do that, there's a couple people in the group that know how to use it really well, okay? But there's no threshold as far as in the beginning how much money you should be saving for yourself. In the beginning, pay yourself, get your bills paid, make sure you're not stressing, and then it's usually put all the money back in the business, okay? Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from, and I've got a bunch of mentors answer that for you. The next question comes from Michael, and Michael says, what would I need to put in place to help prevent infringement of my intellectual property from a new competitor on the market? The background is I own a ticketing platform for selling event tickets. I'm looking to get my website reprogrammed with a new programming language. It's not a lot of background there, but as it relates to protecting your intellectual property or IP from people stealing it, that's all about attorneys and lawyers. That's the only way to protect it, is to work with your attorneys, determine what can be deemed intellectual property, what can be patented, what can be trademarked, what could be copyrighted. It can get to be very, very, very expensive worrying about stuff like that. What I generally like to say is, listen, let somebody copy what I'm doing because I'm going to be so innovative and creative that by the time they see what I'm doing and then take the time to try to copy it, I'm already on to something new, that by the time they release what I'm doing, we have already added more features and benefits and we've already penetrated the market, and nobody's going to compete with our brand because we're going to provide the best service, the best features, the best benefits, the best team, everything. There's nobody that's going to be able to compete with us. When I was running my last company, at one time, I remember we had at least 15 competitors calling on hotels, trying to sell what they thought was the exact same service, and we won at least 90% of the time because there was nobody that could compete with everything that we were doing, and they kept trying, and every time they copied it, we were always coming out with something new. They just couldn't keep up. So innovation, creativity, creating super fans out of your customers and your team, that people just can't compete with that kind of thing, okay? But to answer your question, attorneys are the only people that are going to be able to answer that question for you. As business advisors, which I've got about 7 or 8 more people that are going to answer this for you, I'm gathering that most of us are going to say the same thing, but I'm interested to see what they have to say. All right, the next question comes from Nico, and Nico says, what is your opinion, What, in your opinion, is the best way to market an affiliate product from websites like ClickBank? The background is affiliate marketing has interested me for quite some time. Every video I watch, however, always seems to point to a different way to get the best ROI. I understand there are a ton of ways to market products, native ads, social media ads, Google ads, etc. But right now I'm feeling like I'm dealing with paralysis through over-analysis. Thanks for the recommendations. I've got two other people that are going to answer this, but Nico, not a lot of people in AO really understand a lot about affiliate marketing. There's a couple that do. And I'll tell you what, if you'll send me an email, you should come to the March event, because Jesse Navarro, he does business with the likes of Ty Lopez and some of the largest affiliate marketers in the world. If you came in March, you could sit down and have a conversation with him. You should talk to Shirley about coming in March. Because you would learn a lot. Affiliate marketing is the same, almost kind of the same thing as influencer marketing. Affiliate marketing is where you make a recommendation for a product, whether it's through an advertisement or me saying, hey, go check this out and buy it, use my code. And you make money each time someone purchases that item using your code. Generally speaking, you already know the answers. There's two ways to do affiliate marketing. One is people don't even have to know who you are maybe, and you just run advertisements for something and people purchase and your profit exceeds how much you spend on advertising. The second thing is that you build a personal brand and you become an influencer, someone that somebody trusts, and then you create a website with all of your recommended products and things that you want people to buy from you, and they'll click from your website, go purchase, and you get paid a commission. You know, anybody and everybody, even myself, I actually have an affiliate relationship with Amazon. I don't do it as well as I should, but if I want to recommend something for somebody that they buy from Amazon, I can give them my link and say, hey, here's the thing that I have, go buy this. And when they buy it, I get paid a nice, small commission. If you're doing that thousands and thousands of times, of course, you're going to make more money. But if it were me and I was getting into the affiliate marketer space, there is just like the Amazon arbitrage space, there is a skill to be developed to know what products sell, how to advertise them, and how to get people to buy them, and then to make your commission. It is a craft. It's a skill that gets learned. And you'll want to if you really want to go down that road, you want to get into the affiliate world, which is like the wild, wild west. It's slowed down quite a bit because the novelty of it went away, because most people realized that it was kind of scammy and sketchy, and it's not really traditional business, and so most people just stopped doing it. Even the big players now, they really do it in a very different way, and it's all relationship driven. But you already have the answers. Native ads, email lists, building your personal brand, all of those things are what affiliate marketing is about. And it just like any business, it takes years and years to build it up to where you're finally in a position where you can make some really good money in it. I'm actually really, I really love the idea of that world. It's a fantastic thing. And I've met some people that have made great money, but it's a very, very tough business for somebody that doesn't have a lot of money to advertise, that has never done it before, doesn't know how to do email marketing, can't run their own ads, all those types of things. It can get to be very cumbersome. Okay? Would highly recommend you come in March and talk to Jesse. He knows that business inside and out. There's also a whole world of using what's called JVs, and Jesse could explain that to you. Okay, the next question comes from Aurelio, and he says, I own a landscaping and lawn mowing company. I know if I contract someone to help me, it's a business expense, and my category is contract labor. But what about if I try to pay myself? I am a sole proprietor, LLC, and I use QuickBooks to keep track of my expenses. If I pay myself for working in my company, how do I document that as an expense? Is it a business expense or is it a personal expense? Okay, I don't want to answer this right now, but because I know enough to be dangerous, but this is why you need a CPA and a bookkeeper to have a relationship with, and while you don't have that now, this is a good place to ask. So I'm going to have Marcia and Tyler answer this for you. I know Tyler's going to be able to give you the accountant bookkeeper thing, You could also put this out in the support Saturday, and I'll tag a couple people like Rosalie and Paulina who are also members, and they could help you, no problem. I would also advise this, okay, Aurelio? You might want to send me an email to Shawn@askamillionaire.com, and I will connect you with someone who could do maybe a 1 hour Zoom with you where you can share your screen in your QuickBooks, and they can go through all of your chart of accounts and just do a little audit for you and make sure that you are categorizing everything correctly. And they would also be able to answer that question for you. I think it would be worth the $100 or $150 you would pay to do something like that. So if you want to do that, send me an email. But if you'll do a support Saturday, I'll also tag a couple other people who would go to answer this question for you from a CPA and bookkeeper perspective, okay? I don't like to completely cross that line unless I know I'm 100% sure of how to do it, and I'm about 90% sure, so I don't want to answer this right now. The next question comes from Alex, and Alex says, what are steps I can take to continually improve my leadership and team building skills? The background is I have a landscape business. This year will be my 4th year in business. The first 2 years I worked by myself with a little help here and there from a friend or two. Last year I decided to pivot my business by purchasing the tools to install decorative concrete landscape borders. That is something that I cannot do by myself, so I brought on 2 to 3, sometimes a 4th person, extra person to help. It was an extremely hard, expensive learning curve for me. Mind you, I'm paying every helper in cash, just winging it. I am looking to secure my employees and be able to be a better leader and manager. I have a hard time letting people do finish work. I guess you can say I need to train them instead of using them just as laborers. I want to get away from doing the physical work by building a solid team and being a great leader, boss, and manager. I need to get them on payroll and workers' comp also. Okay, so this is what being an entrepreneur is all about. You know, I talk about this a lot just in general on my Instagram channel, which is every time we want to get to a new level, we have to develop a new skill. And you and I talked about this on our phone call. It's not always easy knowing that, you know, it's like this. At what point do we as entrepreneurs finally just get to relax? Because it seems like every day we're having to learn something new and deal with something new when we just want to just do the same thing and make a lot of money. Unfortunately, being an entrepreneur, it's not like that. But one of the things that makes great, successful entrepreneurs successful is we always love to learn something new, and we always want to go to a new level until someday, as we get older, we are done with the new level game and we just want to have a great life. To be a great leader, to become and learn how to be a great leader and manager, it just takes time. Actually, here's the best thing. I would go into the resource center and I would start going through all of the leadership articles that are in the resource center, and it's going to open your eyes to what leadership is all about and how to start understanding people on your team. Once you kind of understand that, then you can start putting together the pieces of building a good company that people actually want to work for. And that's when we can start getting into all of the brand strategy stuff, which is what is the mission of the company? What's the vision? What are the core values of the company? What makes you guys unique? Who's your target customer? What kind of, and then you start figuring out how to create a good job description, benefits, what kind of pay, how to incentivize people, how to have daily meetings. These are all things that just take time to learn how to do. We're having an advanced leadership and team building event in April, it looks like, probably the middle to latter part of April. Get with Shirley, she can give you the cost. I know you're a brand new member and $5,000 for the weekend might be a little tough to swing, especially if you come in March. But that's how Nick, Heather, Zach, and all the other people that just graduated and are now running 7-figure businesses, they all found a way to get out there and make enough money to come to workshops, to learn how to be better leaders, to learn how to create good teams, and the results speak for themselves. They're now running 7-figure businesses and they're making more money than they used to, and they're working less hours, and they're happier because they're only doing the things in their business that they really love doing. Occasionally they have to step back in and do some of the work they don't want to, but not very often, because they learned how to hire people, they implemented sales and marketing strategies that brought in the business. And that's the mecca, that's the goal that we're all trying to get to. It takes time to learn anything, just like it took time for you to learn how to use those tools and work on a customer's lawn and the stuff that you do with the carvings. You made some mistakes, you fixed it, it cost you money. That took time. How much money did it cost for all of that? It's the same thing. It costs money to learn how to be a great leader. And the more you spend and the more you invest in it and the more time you put in it, the faster you're going to learn and then you're going to be able to use it out in the field. So that's part of being an entrepreneur, is learning how to do all the things that it takes to be successful in a business. There's so many moving parts for a business owner to learn how to navigate, to go from being a solo entrepreneur to building a team of 10 or 20 or 30 people. It may seem like it would be more work and more stressful to manage a team of 20, but I tell you from experience, it's actually easier. It's harder to manage yourself or just 2 or 3 people. It's way harder because you're just learning how to do it. Once you learn how to do it, it just becomes like riding a bicycle. Once you know how to ride a bike, it's just easy, right? So it's the same thing. All right, I hope you guys liked this mentor session today. Remember, we will email you with your answers, and when a new mentor that I have assigned to answer this question for you, when they answer it, you'll get an email with their answer as well. Keep asking more questions. The more questions you ask, the more mentor sessions we can do, and the more value you're going to get out of AO. All right, so that's about it. Hope you have a great day, and peace out. Most won't, I will.